Yo, what's up, everybody? Let's do a pretty thorough Bitcoin technical analysis here. Starting with the weekly, just jump right into it. I apologize for the courses, guys. I'm still waiting on the publisher right now. We updated it to a textured material for the book, so it's taking more time than they thought, or than we thought, rather. And also, there's like a mold that the book goes in and the USB goes in. That is taking a little bit of while to create. So I don't know why they're having trouble with system mold. Coming from an engineer, right? Sounds pretty easy. But they've given me their word that they're rushing on it and that Friday should be the goal. I really do apologize for the wait. We're going to be sending out the shipping packages and all the tracking probably tomorrow or the next day just to make sure that you guys have something for now, right? And I'll update you constantly as well. Anyways, let's get into this. I do apologize for the lateness once again. I don't want to lose trust, right? So I'm going to update you diligently, but I think I'm someone that you can absolutely trust. I'm not going to be moving anywhere. I'm not going anywhere with your money. I really do appreciate all the love and the support you've given me, and especially the prepayment. I still have about 200-300 people messaging me to buy the course. I could easily make more, but I chose not to, just to make it very exclusive for the people that have already bought it. So let's get into this TA. Right now, on the weekly for BTC, we see that it came to a halt, right? The weekly is coming to a halt right now. It tried to break up above this 55 EMA last week or 2 weeks ago, and I mentioned very strongly that May 20th, way over here, was the May of 2020 was the last time we were below the 55 EMA. Here there was a period of 9 bars times 7, so 63 days, that it ended up breaking to the upside and it held as support. Here it bounced one last time, goes up, smashes through, tries to get back up, right? There's a wick right there. It ends up rejecting. Next candle could have attempted to go up, but it didn't even get close to it. Falls right back down. Hammer candle on the weekly, very powerful hammer candle that ends up rejecting 10%. So huge harami type candle, which is just a fancy word for, I think, a big green candle. I stopped caring about the names of the candle because they're irrelevant to me. It's more like the type of candle that it is, right? That's more so important. You don't necessarily need to know the names of the candles, to be quite honest, as long as you understand the psychology behind them. For example, this candle here was really important because it was, first of all, the downtrend, and there's a long wick to the downside. And then during this long wick, where the bears ended up attacking the bulls, okay, the bulls ended up defending it 10%. They pushed it back up right there, another 18.62% total. And the bears eventually pushed them back down a little bit, making a nice hammer type candle. The body of the candle is where the bulls have dominated, right? That's the difference between the open and the close. Opens there, closes there. The rest are regions where the bulls and the bears have fought and there's been major defense. Okay, so you see this type of candle and you say to yourself, the bulls have defended a good 10% to the downside. So the next week after, there could be really strong bullish momentum to the upside. And this candle here has barely a wick. The wick just barely begins, right? So it closes there and it opens here. And if you take a look at the open, the bears try to push them down back to the previous candle's low right here. Sorry, the previous candle's opening right there. So this open was 36,230. This low was 36,204. So it's actually got lower than this open, but they defended really firmly with a 5% defense, and they pushed it up really hard to the point where the bears didn't even get a chance to defend because there's no wick to the top side. So the week after, you would assume a really bullish run, making an attempt to break to the upside. This is all price action trading, guys. You would assume that, right? But what ends up happening is the bulls push to the upside by 8%, and the bears completely smash them and reject them by pushing them back down entirely. So the momentum of the bulls from here led up to there, and then the momentum from here to there led up to the push to break above the 55 EMA. And unfortunately, they were not able to break above this 55 EMA. A really strong rejection happens, pushing to the downside. So for the first time in about 600 days total, for here is where we closed below the 55 EMA on the weekly, which is a really strong indication that the momentum was likely to continue to the downside. which I mentioned and I called it, right? You don't want to be going into a long position, a longer term long position, that is. That is like a swing position if you're seeing this type of candle. And here we see that the high was much lower than that previous high. And because it's much lower, we can easily assume that there could be a push to the downside, and that's what happened. Okay, that's exactly what happened. So the first trade that I took before was we were assuming something around this range, near here, right? And we ended up pushing to the upside, right around there. I think it was a golden ratio bounce, a slight one. Yeah, we got to the golden ratio here. So this region right there, just bear with me for all the colors, moves to the upside. Okay, it moves to the upside really nicely, right? So now it moved to the upside, and then we end up getting a rejection, and now it looks like it's channeling. It falls right below here, and it hits this lower trend line. Do you see this lower trend line that's been formed? Here are the points where it's touching. These are sloped supports that are really useful for long positions. That's where I made that $8,000 longing yesterday on actually no, was it 8,000? I can't remember. I've taken 3 trades since and I nailed them. I'm actually up about $10,000 in the past 24 hours. 3 trades, really nice on I think Gala and Neo. That's right. So when it hit here, the lower trend line, I longed I think Neo, and then because Neo ended up taking a huge rally right around there. So that was a nice opportunity. And Gala also bounced at the golden ratio as well. That was beautiful. But then of course we fall below it. So take a look here in the lower time frame. I want to show you guys something. Okay, a lot of people would be panicking here. Okay, right there, because we ended up dropping way below by about 1% outside of that. That was scary. But if you look on the higher time frame, of course, all that you're gonna see is just a wick, right? You're just gonna see a wick that goes to the downside like that. Make sense? Let me just get this on a bigger screen for you. There you go. So you just see a wick coming to the downside and pushing right back up. So on the higher time frame, this looks like a really good type of channel to be pursuing and observing right now. Most likely going to hit right around here, and there might be a reaction. It might break up, it might break down. We don't know. The general rule of channels to me is if you're entering on a channel, right, and you think it's going to break out, just set it for a 1% loss right back into the channel. A channel is just like any other breakout. It's either going to go up and keep going up, or it's going to go up and then retest. That retest is the scarier one. You can enter it one of 2 ways. You can enter it on the breakout and set a tight stop. Tight stop for back in the channel of about 1% or even 0.5%, right? Because if you set it for 0.5%, the original impression is that the original bias is that it's going to break up and not retest at all in any way. Okay? That's one way you can trade the setup. The second way that you can trade the setup is you don't enter on the breakout and you're wanting a retest. You want to retest, okay, and see how it looks. This is a little bit safer, actually a lot safer, because you can now see confirmation where you'll see a wick reject into the channel. Okay, of course it could fall right back in, but the retest is generally stronger. If you see a wick, for example, that occurs, that's poking to the downside, and it doesn't actually go, the body doesn't close below it, and you just see a wick, that means that it's rejecting to the downside, and that you would enter on the next candle that's trading above that candle's body. Okay, that's what I would do. So there's 2 ways. There's no better way to do it. It just comes down to whichever way you prefer to do it. Do you want to be the breakout trader with a tight stop? Do you want to be the retester with more confirmation? Of course, on the breakout strategy, if you entered it there, okay, that's going to allow you to capitalize on a much larger gain. But there's more risk associated with it because you don't know if it's going to come right back to the downside, right? If it's going to retest. Sometimes it's going to retest like that, go up there, then retest way down over here. So now you're really at a loss, right? So now you got to determine where's your stop going to be. Is it going to be slightly below this point? See, for example, I'll just make this a big red line. That point right there, or is it going to be just, you don't know yet, it's to be determined, and it's going to be somewhere where it gets back inside of the channel. That's probably the better idea in my opinion. Okay, so now let's get back into enough with the strategies. So now we still see downtrending on the daily. For the past few days, just a major downtrend, right? For 4 days now. That's pretty good for day traders, especially because there's volatility. On the daily, our RSI is pretty neutral. 12-hour RSI, just hit the low end here, okay? But don't discount for a moment because Bitcoin can get to really low RSIs. You can see people thought it was really low there, but it still continued to decline. People thought it was low there. It went up a little bit, but that wasn't really that much of a bounce. It was like 10%, and it still continued to decline by about 25%. I just want to talk about Bitcoin really quickly about how we're literally at half the price of the all-time high almost, okay, around there. Well, not half, but much lower than 70K, right? And I'm still very bullish on the fact that we're gonna get to $100,000 one day. So now is the time to ask yourself, if you've not accumulated Bitcoin before and you missed out on 2 major bull runs, what are you gonna do now? Are you gonna actually start buying Bitcoin? I'm gonna start buying Bitcoin. Like I buy Bitcoin I'm going to buy Bitcoin every few weeks from now on. I don't give a shit if it goes down to $20,000, to be honest, okay? I'm gonna keep buying it. And the reason for this is because you don't know where the bottom is. There's no right time to buy Bitcoin. If you have extra capital, right now to $100,000 is 160%, okay? So if I just keep averaging my long-term holds here to even 20K to wherever it is, if I'm buying $5,000 every week, it guarantees that when we get to 100K, I'm gonna have a lot of Bitcoin. A lot of people will argue, well, you could buy a lot more Bitcoin if you wait till the bottom, when you don't know where the bottom is. And you can also risk not even having any Bitcoin for the long-term hold. Okay, that's substantial. It's a way safer place, in my opinion, to put into crypto. This is not financial advice, just speaking for myself. It's way safer to buy Bitcoin than it is to put your money in the bank. You should see what's happening in Canada right now. Canada has this because of these protests happening in Ottawa, they're basically freezing any a lot of major funds that are being deposited, and also crowdsource funding for crypto is now all going through FinTrack, which is the major I don't know what's called, the group that's watching all the money transfers in Canada, right? So it's crazy what's happened in Canada, and they also have a right to close your bank account without giving you any warning now if they have any suspicious evidence. That's fucked up, man. Like, why would they keep my money in Canada if they're suspicious of anything? They can find any reason to be suspicious. Banks, they're the biggest lobbyists in the world. Like, I'm sorry for swearing, but obviously they have a major influence in the Canadian economy or any economy, right? And especially with laws being passed, if they're the big competitors of crypto, obviously. I've had 3 bank accounts closed already because of the amounts of crypto that I've deposited into it. I'm not kidding with you. And because of this, well, if they find any suspicious behavior, again, now they can actually close it. Before I actually had warning. Now they can actually close it without warning. And that scares the crap out of me. Why would I ever want to put my money into crypto? I mean, into a bank when that can happen. My dog is licking my foot. She's so freaking cute. Ellie's licking my foot, so I thought I'd get her for you guys. Check her out. She's now 12 weeks old today. Look. She's a really, really cute dog. I'll show you guys her closer. She's probably the cutest dog I've ever seen in my life, except for my dog Luna at home. Hi Ellie, say hi to the camera. She's about doubled in size since I got her. We got her at 900 grams. She's now 1.8 kilograms about. She's a really good dog, very, very smart. Like, smarter than my dog in Canada, Luna. She walks on a leash well already. I've been training her. She can do about 7-8 tricks already. She's very food motivated. Look at his belly, guys. Like, she's such a good dog. Yeah, she likes to stay on my shoulder right here. Yeah. I'm sorry for talking about my dog. I'll get back to the course here. Oh, your nails, I gotta cut them, sweetie. Okay, there you go. Anyways, let's get back to this. My apologies. Everyone's a proud dog owner. So, Bitcoin, like, it's. I'm not gonna give you guys financial advice, but I will say that it's time for me. Oh, look at that! Bitcoin is trying to penetrate what I just talked about there, and it's actually really going right now. So there's a chance to break up there, of course, right? This could be the low. You never know, like. But what I want to do is I want to keep just buying Bitcoin because I have a few already, right? We'll just say a few, and then if it gets to 100K, right? I'm not going to regret it. I'm not going to regret at all if I bought it now. Even if it went down to 20K, I'm not going to regret it because eventually it's going to go to $100,000. And when it does, I'm not going to be one of those people that said, I kept waiting, but I never got any, right? So Bitcoin on the daily, it's showing that it's pretty neutral, right? On the 12-hour, it's actually going to the upside now. So it's starting to bullishly diverge. The 4-hour is about to have, it has a crossover now in the 4-hour. Look, finally. Look, the 4-hour just went up. So that's a pretty big crossover in my opinion. I'm probably going to expect a rally from this. The volume is actually increasing. So this is a really, really good sign that Bitcoin's doing great. That's a huge RSI bump up there. I'm not going to bother doing Elliott wave here. And also this looks like an impulse wave. You know, this really looks like an impulse wave going up. On for example, the 1 hour, or the 45 even, this does look really hard like an impulse wave attempt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like this right here. Okay, I don't know if it's gonna break to the upside. We don't know that. Do you see why you basically, if you're gonna buy it on the breakout, you gotta look on the really low time frame, right? You gotta look, it hasn't come down yet, but you put a stop that's tight, like 0.5%, 1% in here. And here it looks like it broke out, but on other time frames it just shows that it went up. Or sorry, the 30-second chart's a little bit skewed. It changes the way the support is. It moves it. So I don't know why it does that all the time. Here we're already seeing rejection, right? Obviously. So on the lower time frame, for some reason, you still see it above. So it's really difficult to draw these trend lines because of how TradingView is bugged there. So right now, there's a major chance that we're gonna break to the upside eventually on this trade here. This looks like it's got some pretty high potential in my opinion. I'm not sure exactly how this count is gonna end up looking, but it looks like something that could possibly be like that. On the lower time frames, like the 30-minute all the way up to the 4-hour, it's actually really bullish. 5 hours bullish as well. Bullishly diverging RSI on the 5-hour, bullishly diverging RSI on the 6-hour. Okay, this bounce could actually happen very soon. If a bounce does happen, okay, and it does break to the upside, we're obviously going to see key figures around here first. 39.3 roughly, and then here. This seems to make a lot of sense, doesn't it? Just go for the key figures of where you see of the interim highs. Okay, so right here, this is going to be resistance 1 at 39.3. Okay, this is going to be resistance 2 right around here, around 40,003, right? So 39.3, 43. So every 1,000, it seems like there's a resistance, and we're not that far away from it. I don't think this one's really going to hold much, to be honest. Okay, but we now got to measure fib. We got to say to ourselves, fudgesicles, we're at the golden ratio of this structure. So there might be another wave to the downside. So it's a very confusing coin right now to be trading. This one was nailed though. This one was nailed where I traded Gala for a major bounce. You always want to stick to coins that have high volume. Gala has high volume, so you want to stick to that, okay? So am I even logged in right now? Nice. This is from this morning. This is not it right now, okay? I'm just going to be honest that I'm not in this trade. I took the profit already. But the thing about Binance is if you enter a trade, right, and you close it on your phone, it doesn't actually show you it's closed on the computer. I'm not up 3,000. I actually ended up only taking in, I only took in $2,000 profit of that. But if I had stayed in my Gala long position, I would have been up 3,400. So just being honest about that. Let's get back to here. Where is it? Here we go. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Okay, so Bitcoin. So based on alts right now, wow, RSR is really, really up today. It made a really nice move to the upside here. But the thing is, RSR, the volume might be shit, you know? So you don't want to trade a coin that has really bad $33 million volume. You don't want to touch those coins, right? Based off of here, what's trending the most? Nothing really. KNC went down the most today. Let's see what KNC is doing right now, though, just to see. The volume is 155. It's pretty decent volume, I have to admit. Pretty nice. Anything for volume increase in the 4-hour? Nothing. Daily volume increase. Tomo's going up. H-bar is going up. Okay. Anything on the 30-minute? AR just spiked up 4% in 30 minutes. So, and LRC as well. So you can see that AR and LRC, they're the ones doing pretty good right now. You can just see that AR USDTP. You can probably see a breakout that just happened based off of CryptoLoom. See, so CryptoLoom shows you right away what's breaking out. And then you see LRC as well. Okay, so LRC here just broke out as well, broke up another 5%. So you can see on CryptoLoom exactly what's breaking out right away. And just based off of trend changes here, right, you see MKR still going up here. MKR just went up 12% today total. MKR, this guy is it's really parabolic coin the way it's moving. So you want to confirm on the volume to see if it's great to possibly find a short position. MKR 34, that's really shitty, right? You don't want to be trading a coin with just 34. Or if you do trade, just don't tell anyone about it. So I'm trying to see if there's another wave to the downside. I don't know a lot of things right now. RSR just went up too, right? So there's a lot of coins that are going to the upside, but I'm just wondering if there's another wave to the downside still. I don't think there is actually. I'm gonna try to buy on a long position for a dip. Anyways, I'm gonna post this now. Bye.